There is systematic racism everywhere. How do I know, you may ask? Look at all the disparities between black and whites in America. Here, just hold on a minute. Phil Vischer, my beloved VeggieTales creator, will explain.
We need to talk about race. Why are people protesting? Why are people angry? Slavery ended 150 years ago. The civil rights movement was 60 years ago. Racial discrimination is illegal now. Heck, we even had a black president. So why are people still upset? We're going to go through history and we're going to look at some data, and we're going to go quickly so this video doesn't get too long. So, hang on. These are two households in America. One is black, the other is white. Today, the average black household has 60% of the income of the average white household, but only 1/10 of the household wealth. Why does that matter? Well, household wealth helps send kids to school, helps launch small businesses, stabilizes loss of income, and helps families survive catastrophic events like divorce or unemployment. What's amazing about this number is that there are lots of extremely wealthy African Americans, movie stars, pop stars, 75% of the NBA, 70% of the NFL, Oprah, Tyler Perry, Ben Carson, Morgan Freeman, and there are a lot of extremely poor white families. Think of Appalachia and other parts of rural America. But even when we factor all that in, the average black household still has only 1/10 the wealth of the average white household.
Seems pretty convincing, huh? Well, not exactly. That's of course until reason and evidence, those annoying things. As Christians, we should be people who hold great value on discernment and a high standard for truth. I'm Nathan Collins, bringing you the truth of Christ in a post-truth culture. Jesus had a saying, "Wisdom is vindicated by her deeds." This means that wisdom is shown to be true and correct through action or what it produces. Ideas, opinions, and intuition are shown true only when they are tested against reality. Reality doesn't care how much you believe something to be true. It is either in line with reality or it isn't. You jump off a roof and flap your arms. You will fall. Reality doesn't care what you wish to be true. Let's look into these disparities between race from a closer view of the data. Now, you may have never heard of what I'm about to say because it doesn't fit the identity politics of today. Take, for instance, the fact that income differences between middle-aged people and young adults are greater than the income differences between whites and blacks. This tells us that some big changes happen between when you are a young adult to when you're middle-aged that account for some serious income growth. This isn't surprising. We would all say that it is true. Older people are generally further in their career than younger people, and their incomes are very different. A college-age kid most likely doesn't make as much as a 50-year-old. So here's how this applies. The median age of Japanese Americans is 51, and the median age of Mexican Americans is 27. After what has just been previously explained, how likely is it that we should expect a big income difference between the two groups? Very likely, right? In fact, if the Japanese Americans aren't making much more, then something is wrong. Japanese Americans' median income is around $60,000 to $80,000 compared to Mexican Americans around $32,000. Now, if we didn't know this additional information about age, we could ignorantly make the claim that there must be some sort of Japanese supremacy system going on in the United States that is discriminating against Mexican Americans. But this is obviously not true. Now, let's look at the age differences between white and black Americans. The difference in median age in white Americans is 58, and the median age in the black American group is 27. Therefore, we should expect the same income disparity as with Japanese Americans and Mexican Americans. The median income for white Americans is $65,000, and the median income for black Americans is $41,000. Oddly, the difference in income isn't as large as the one between Japanese Americans and Hispanic Americans, even though the age difference between white Americans and black Americans is even larger. These, of course, are facts that don't fit the narrative, so you don't hear about it. So back to our friend Phil Vischer at the beginning of this episode. One of the many flaws in looking at the so often quoted disparities between household incomes is simply age difference. Another flaw is the metric he used. Although mainstream media and critical race theorists like to use average household income because it fits their confirmation bias, this metric is not practically helpful, though, for a few reasons. The first reason is that it is an average. Averages don't reflect real people. Medians are what we should be looking at. I'll give you an example. The average amount of children in the United States is 2.5 kids. There are obviously no 0.5 kids running around, so it's not actually accurate in telling us how many children in a family we are actually most likely to really see in real life. The second thing is that the statistic so commonly used is quite unhelpful and deceptive. You're not comparing the same things. For instance, what kind of household incomes are we comparing? Average household incomes don't tell you how many people are in the household. If most households in a certain group are young single moms around 27, you should then expect that the household would not make near what a 2 working adult household would make with both adults around 58. You also would obviously expect to find more renters among 27-year-old single mom households than those of decades older 2 working adult households. 2 working adult households are more likely to own houses as well, and thus have more household wealth. Renters usually don't have a lot of household wealth because they, don't own houses, obviously. So yeah, you're going to see a disparity. Duh. We need to compare apples with apples here if we were honestly interested in figuring out the truth. But once you do this, the disparities have a less dramatic explanation. Now, many people will push back against this, and that's fine. People don't like this explanation because it doesn't follow the dramatic and engaging story of conspiratorial racism hidden around every corner. As a Christian, I follow Christ, and I pursue truth, not politics. Reality doesn't care about your intuition, experience, or how we feel things should be. The burden of proof is on those individuals who claim racism is the cause of these disparities. They must show where a system leads to empirically provable racism. Otherwise, it's just an opinion. Wisdom is shown true by actions. Where are the actions? Where is the evidence of systemic racism? If you would like to look at these numbers for yourself, all this information in this episode can be found in economist Dr. Thomas Sowell's book, Discrimination and Disparities, as well as the Pew Research Center. If you would like to check out more of my episodes on this topic, click here. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. This is Nathan Collins, bringing you the truth of Christ in a post-truth culture. Grace and peace, brothers.